We are so happy to have you here for our Girl Power 2022, presented by Comfortline Fiber Frame. Were any of you in here for the panel talk a little while ago? Oh, good. I'm glad to see lots of hands raised. For those of you who were here, this is going to be more of what you heard, even more in depth. For those of you who weren't here, we've got two really good speakers. We've been chatting for the last 30 minutes or so. They're very interesting and fun to listen to, so I think you're really going to like this. My name is Sasha Bright. For those of you who were not here earlier, I work at 13 ABC in the very early morning, probably when most of you guys are still asleep. But yes, I work on the morning show. And when they asked me to be a part of this, I couldn't say no. This is a great event. This is about girls with dreams and becoming women with vision. That is what today is all about. And we're introducing you to amazing women who have followed their dreams, and now they're positive, successful females in whatever their professional roles are in their community and also in their own lives. So I've got these two extraordinary women here on stage with me today. They are trailblazers in their field. They're women with vision, and I would like to add women with a strong voice, because that is a big part. It's nice to have a vision. You need a voice to get moving on that vision. So before we introduce them to you, I'd like to recognize all of our Girl Power sponsors who made today possible. You're going to meet women from all of these companies when you visit all the various activity tables this afternoon. So our first keynote speaker today is Battalion Chief Sharyl Close. 29 years ago, she became a Toledo firefighter. In 2012, she was promoted to lieutenant and then to captain. And 2021, she became the only female in the Toledo Fire and Rescue Department to be promoted to battalion chief. It's a big deal. She is a certified fire safety officer, is certified by the United States Coast Guard as a merchant marine officer, and has been a national registered state of Ohio paramedic since July of 2008. Battalion Chief Close is currently assigned to the Training Bureau. The second speaker you're going to hear from this afternoon is Dr. Joan Duggan. She received her degree from the University of Toledo. She did her residency at the Medical College of Ohio and her fellowship at the University of Michigan. For more than 20 years, she has served as the medical director for the Ryan White program, and her specialty is infections, the difficult ones. Those are the ones that are hard to diagnose and treat. And this year, the YWCA recognized Dr. Duggan with the Milestone Award for her contributions to the field of sciences. So I know that you guys are going to have a lot of questions for both of these women today. We're going to hear from both of them, and then we will do a Q&A afterward. So you get your questions ready. Start thinking about them while they're speaking. So we will begin this afternoon with Battalion Chief Sharyl Close.
As Sasha said, I'm Sharyl Close. I'm a Battalion Chief with Toledo Fire Department. I am standing in for the first big chief of the Toledo Fire Department, Chief Allison Armstrong. She's the first female fire chief in Toledo, and I'm proud to represent her. She is on vacation, so she was unable to make it. But she did leave a message for everybody, and we'd like to play that right now.
Hi, my name is Allison Armstrong, and I'm the Chief of the Toledo Fire and Rescue Department. I'm sorry that I couldn't be there today in person, but I wanted to record a message for you. I lead the over 500 men and women of the Toledo Fire and Rescue Department. One of my many responsibilities is to make sure that our Toledo firefighters have the personnel, training, equipment, and other resources to do their jobs safely and effectively. Firefighters use science, technology, engineering, and math every day to carry out their job duties. Nationwide, less than 5% of career firefighters are female. Here in Toledo, approximately 12% of our firefighters are women. We bring different backgrounds, experiences, and strengths that allow us to work together as a team. In addition to being a firefighter, I am also a registered nurse and a paramedic. I have a master's degree in health information technology from the University of Cincinnati. I also work for the Ohio Disaster Medical Assistance Team, providing medical care to people in their time of need after natural disasters. From the time that I was a little girl, I always wanted to be a firefighter. I joined an explorer group, and I learned as much as I could about firefighting. I didn't let anything deter me from achieving my dream. Firefighters do more than just put out fires. Most of what we do involves responding to calls for emergency medical services. Our rigs carry life-saving treatments and medications that we can provide to a patient anywhere. If a patient is experiencing a medical emergency, they call 911 and we respond quickly. We render treatments and then transport the patient to the hospital. Firefighters also respond to a variety of other calls for service to include water rescues, rope rescues, dive rescues, hazardous material spills, and more. There are plenty of opportunities to learn, train, and advance in the fire service. I encourage you to pursue your dreams. With hard work and determination, you can do whatever you want. Over my 21-year career with the Toledo Fire and Rescue Department, I was able to advance through the ranks while simultaneously finishing 3 degrees and raising a family. You can do it too. I love being a Toledo firefighter, and I love my current role as fire chief because it allows me to serve the citizens of Toledo while leading and empowering the men and women of the Toledo Fire Department. It also gives me a platform to inspire people to pursue their dreams and achieve their goals. Lastly, I want to leave you with this. If you work hard and you're determined, you can do whatever you want to do. Thank you for having me here today, and I promise next time I'll be there in person.
There was a little technical issues, but you all got our message. This is the greatest job in the world. Right now I'm the Battalion Chief of Training, so I am over where we hire new people and we do all their hands-on training at the Training Bureau out at Owens. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Toledo. I still live in Toledo today. I raised my 4 children here. Went to school at St. Catherine's and went to high school at Central Catholic. I was always quite the tomboy. I'm the youngest of 5, 2 brothers, 2 sisters. I always played basketball, softball, volleyball through high school, so I was always going. I always thought I'd be a garbage collector. That's always what I wanted to be as a little girl. I always followed them around every Friday picking up garbage, and I just thought they had the coolest job ever. And then I wanted to be a police officer. I didn't know any firefighters. I had a few police officers that were my neighbors, but I knew nothing about the fire department. I happened to be at a softball game at Scott Park, and a recruiter came up to me and handed me a pamphlet. At the time, I was a single mother, and I was looking for a career, not just a job, but I needed a career. I needed health insurance for my daughter and I wanted to do something hands-on in my community. That's just where my heart has always been. So September 11th of 1992, I was hired on the fire department. I came on with 61 people, and only myself and another girl were on the fire department. I had one gentleman in my class tell me that I had to become a paramedic. And what a paramedic is, they're higher qualified medical professionals, so they ride the life squads. We are all EMTs, but some of us choose to become paramedics. So this gentleman told me that I had to become a paramedic because the Toledo Fire and Rescue doesn't allow women to ride on the fire trucks and go into fires. And I thought, well, that stinks, because that's really what I want to do. So that just motivated me. I said, I'm going to work so hard out at drill school and show them that I'm going to be the first lady that goes out on the fire truck, first one to go in a fire. Well, he was misinformed. There was already 17 females on the fire department, and they were already going into fires. So I was unable to be the first at that. But it still kept me motivated to be the best I could be. Then, once we got out of drill school, my first rotation was with a group of gentlemen that were all in their 50s, and here I was, a 23-year-old blonde, yappy little girl. I thought, these gentlemen are going to hate me. But they took me under their wing. They taught me everything about the job, the culture, the history, and the brother and sisterhood that I was now a part of. And those guys remain my friends to this day. Some of them have passed away, but we all remain friends until today. They actually, all the guys came to my wedding, to my husband the following year. So it's truly a family. We work 24 hours, so we sleep at the fire station, we eat at the fire station, and we depend on each other. Every station that I went to, I had great experiences, and I can only speak for myself. But I had great experiences. Guys were always willing to answer my many, many questions. Was there a few jerks in the room? Yes, absolutely. You're always going to have that. My father always told me, not everybody's going to like you, but prove yourself, do your job, and prove that you belong there and that you can do anything the guys can do. So I just went with that. As I got more time on the job, a little braver, I would talk to those people if somebody had a problem with me. I think a lot of things with people not liking each other, 9 times out of 10 it's communication. And one girl tells you that this girl said something about you, 9 times out of 10 that's not even what happened. So always go to the source. And that's always been my philosophy. If somebody says someone said something about you, I'm going to go to that person and say, is there a problem? And 9 times out of 10, you don't have a problem with somebody. It's all miscommunication. So that was kind of my philosophy I took after that. And I have gotten along with everybody. I did become a paramedic after I had 16 years on the job, and that was on my terms. It wasn't because some man told me I had to. And I love that I did that. I got promoted. I worked on the east side for 20 years as a firefighter, a paramedic, a lieutenant, and a captain. I loved working on the east side. A lot of great people over there. And then I became chief, and then I started floating around a little bit, and now I'm at the training bureau. I would just like for you girls to know that you can do whatever you want to do. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. And you go into a situation with an open mind, an open heart, and be positive. When you go into a situation, maybe you don't feel like you belong. I didn't think that I really belonged, but I was going to go in with an open mind and just be as bubbly as can be, because if you smile at somebody, they're going to smile back. They can't be grouchy and mean if you smile, you chat with them and everything else. So your positivity will spread amongst your environment if you just throw it out there. So we have a video of the other 61 females. Miss Gina over here is one of our females. She's part of our recruitment team and public education, so she does a lot in the community. And these are some of the 61 awesome girls that we have on the fire department. And soon to be more. We have two classes starting, one in a couple weeks, one in June. So we'll have 8 more females to add to the list. And Toledo has one of the highest percentages nationwide of female firefighters. We have 11, 12% of females. Nationwide, it's about 5%. So we have broken a lot of barriers, and now that we have Chief Allison Armstrong as our big chief, we are really on the map. And we owe that to a lot of women that even came before me. So that is it.
Thank you so much. See, these are people you may not know, but in part of the news, we're going out and we're going to fires, and you may not always see these people yourself. You may see glimpses of them if you're watching a news story. Sometimes they have all of their stuff on, so you can't really tell who's who. But it really helps to hear them talk, because they talk just like people you know, right? The stuff that she's done getting to where she is today, the stuff she was afraid of when you first started that you didn't know, it helps to hear them explain that, because it happened back then. You might encounter it now, and you realize, well, they're just like my mom. They're just like my aunt. They're just like me. What I want to do. Maybe you thought you couldn't be, but this is great to hear your story. Thank you so much. Now we're going to welcome Dr. Joan Duggan to share some of her experiences with us.
Okay, thank you all for having me here. I've got slides on here, and so in order to see them, I kind of have to turn like this. So I'm going to be wandering back and forth. But I know that if I fall off of this, I have one of the best fire departments in the country that will pick me up and get me out of here. So I have no fear right now. All right. Okay, so just to reemphasize, ladies, you can do anything you want to do, okay? There's absolutely no question about that. I'm looking out here at the audience, and I'm seeing friends of mine from the University of Toledo. I'm seeing Janelle Schaller up there. She's one of our lawyers. She's actually our vice chief for legal for the entire university. Sarah Martino, one of our physician assistants. You guys, you can do anything you want to do. Question, what do you want to do? Okay, that's the real question. What do you want to do? Don't listen to anybody else tell you anything. They don't have your best interest at heart anyway. You got to make a decision about what you want to do. Has everybody here seen Harry Potter, the movie? Okay, everybody's seen that? All right, so here's the thing about careers. Careers are your tools in life. They're kind of your calling. And kind of like Ollivander says to Harry Potter, the wand chooses the wizard to a certain extent, Harry Potter, okay? The wand chooses the wizard. So activities like this are meant to introduce you guys to stuff, to show you all of the opportunities that are out there. That's why those stations out there are fantastic, okay? Me personally, I don't like bugs. I'm sorry. Blood doesn't make me squeamish, but bugs scare me, okay? Therefore, there's a couple of things I'm probably not going to do, but that's okay, because we want a variety of careers out there. So if you guys want to, hang on, let's see, where's my little, all right. So I was going to use this to point, but so the WNBA, if you guys want to play basketball, it will help if you have natural talent, but go for it. If you want to do it, go for it. All right, you want to be a doctor. Yes, no? Let me tell you a little bit about it, okay? The only thing most of the women are going to disagree about today is who has the best job. Because I actually have the best job, infectious diseases. Nothing better in the entire world. No, I don't. Talk to the hand. I got the best job, all right, because it's really cool. All right, so when you decide on what you want to be, there's a lot of decisions and a lot of factors. What interests me? What am I good at? Here's the key one that the fire chief also talked about. Am I willing to work at it? Okay, because nothing worth having in life ever really gets handed to you. You have to work at it, all right? And I think being a doctor is the best job, especially infectious diseases, is literally the best job in the world. But that's just one of a whole bunch of great careers that are available for you. So I decided to talk about, would medicine be right for me? Things I want you guys thinking about, even at your age. I want you thinking about these things. Here are some things I want you to think about. All right, so the road to becoming a doctor. Okay, in order to become a doctor, either a medical doctor or a DO, or like my friend Sarah, being a physician assistant or a nurse practitioner, after high school, you need 4 years of college, end of story. And you need these things, that are kind of prerequisites like math and chemistry and biology and physics, but they're easily doable, okay? Don't ever let anybody tell you you can't do them. You can. Look at me, I'm proof, okay? I'm not Albert Einstein and I made it through. You can do this. You can also edit that out of any tapes that are here. All right, standardized exam, the MCAT, you take it in your junior year, then you do 4 years of medical school and 3 years of residency. All totally doable, okay? And then you're a doctor, all right? And what do doctors do? We do tons of things. We do everything from run hospitals to see patients in the outpatient clinic, to teach students, to do operations, to give you your shots in the clinic when you come in pediatrics. We do everything related to healthcare and to keep you safe. Now, how do you know if you want to be a doctor or not? Okay, some people figure out pretty early that they like it, and some people it takes them a little bit longer. Here are some things that you might want to ask yourself to see if this is the right job for me. Okay, Do you like science? If you like science, if you find it interesting, if those tables out there interested you in any way, shape, or form, this might be the career for you, okay? Do you like puzzles and mysteries? Because a lot of what being a doctor is puzzles and mysteries, figuring out what's wrong with somebody, putting all the pieces together. Sometimes we refer to ourselves as medical detectives, okay? And the people that work with our pathologists in our coroner's office, they're actually detectives in kind of a really cool way. All right, do you like working with other people? So this is really, really important. Just like being in the fire department, we depend upon our colleagues for basically everything, especially in the OR and other places. So do you like working with people? If so, this could be for you. And do you like helping other people or stuffed dragons? If you do like any of those, this could also be for you. And for any of the adults that don't know, this is Doc McStuffins, and she's actually rather inspiring. And here's the other thing. Do you like learning new things? Things happen all the time, and a medical degree is just a license to learn. Trust me, in 2019, nobody had any idea about coronaviruses. Now, we all know a lot about it. You gotta like to learn, because science is always changing, in medicine in particular, okay? So if you answered yes to any or all of those questions, being a doctor might be the career for you. Now, there are things people worry about, and they really shouldn't, but when people are thinking about becoming a doctor, these things are always like, ugh. All right, here's a big one. I'm afraid of the sight of blood, okay? Well, when I was 13, I was too. You know what? And that just went away. And I also used to hate Brussels sprouts, and now I like them, okay? So things change in your life. So just because at a certain age you're afraid of the sight of blood, that doesn't mean anything. Trust me, that one kind of goes away as you get older, okay? Just like, so I'm going to give you an example. Just like you can ask your parents, your mothers, some of them will tell you that when they were a kid, they used to be, like vomit used to make them sick. And then when you're sick, they're helping you. It's like, wow, this stuff goes away, okay? The squeamishness, it goes away. So don't let that talk you out of your head for doing this. All right, it's too much work. It's a lot of work. Yeah, so if you don't like work, this is not for you. But then if you don't like work, your job is not for you. So it's that one I can't help you with. But it is a lot of work, but it's not too much work. And here's the deal. With any career, if you love it, it's actually not work. It's fun. That's the thing you got to remember. If you like it, it's fun. It's too hard to get into medical school. No, I mean, it's a challenge, but it's not too hard to get into medical school. And now 50% of our classes are women, okay? So we have what we call gender equity in our medical school classes. 50% of our classes are female, okay? So it is not too hard, all right? You have to do well in school, but you'll have people say, oh, you got a C in high school biology, you can't be a doctor. Oh, nonsense, ridiculous, okay? You just have to keep working, and it's hard work. All right, this one, it costs too much money. All right. We were just talking about this before the presentation started. This actually holds a lot of people back from going to college or from going on to graduate school, is the thought that it costs too much money. And you know, there are tons of ways to finance an education. Scholarships, grants, that people just simply don't take advantage of. So somebody will tell you this, they'll say, oh, it costs too much money. You just have to remember, no, I was told it doesn't, and somebody told me that, and that person will be me right now, that when I'm in high school or college, there are people out there that will help me with this, essentially guidance counselors, that will help me get over this, so I don't need to worry about that, okay? And I'm not going to make that a decision about whether or not I become a doctor or get a degree and become a paramedic or anything else, that it costs too much money. I know there's a way around that. Okay. finally, some of the things that people tell themselves is that they're not good enough in science to be a doctor. So trying to get this to be a pointer. Are you going to be a pointer for me? Hang on. Woohoo! Okay, so this is what most people think of when they think of a scientist. This is Albert Einstein. So this is a very, very famous physics conference from the 1920s. And this is typical for most people's impression of scientists in their head. And the only woman sitting over here is this one. And that's the Nobel laureate, the two-time Nobel laureate, Marie Curie. Okay? But, you know, this is science. These are two women in an operating room. We now have, you go in the operating room many times, and now the chief surgeon is female. It's an entirely women crew. Okay? This is absolutely, positively doable. Okay? So final thoughts. You can do whatever you put your mind to doing. And remember, you're going to like some things more than others. Be open to all these experiences. Check them out. Over time, things change. But don't ever let anybody talk you out of doing something that you really want to do. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now that you've heard from these two women, did they answer some questions maybe you had in your head that you hadn't, maybe you didn't even know it was a question. Did you learn something new? Yeah? You learned something you didn't know before you started? Do you have questions you'd like to ask them? We have two mics right here. Okay, so we're gonna walk to you. When we come to you, say your name, how old you are, maybe what school you went to, and then ask away. Anything you want. They're ready to answer. Go ahead. Yeah.
My name is Lydia. I'm 7 years old. I'm in first grade.
You got it.
Do you know if viruses has been around since the dinosaurs' times?
Viruses? Yeah. Go ahead.
The answer is yes. Viruses have been around for even probably before dinosaurs. We're not entirely 100 million% sure about that, but we're pretty sure they've been around a long, long time. See, we can't culture anything that's that old, but we're pretty sure evolutionarily they've been around a long time.
That's a good question.
That was a great question.
That's a good question. Oh, over here. Okay, go ahead.
My name is Ashley. I'm 9 years old and in the third grade. Has anybody ever told you couldn't do what? Has anybody ever told you that you wouldn't be able to fit in?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Like I said, one person that I went to school with told me that I wasn't going to be able to ride on a fire engine because they didn't let girls. But he was wrong, and I was going to prove him wrong anyways. But yep, I've totally been told I couldn't do or fit in, but I proved him wrong.
One of the interesting things, the other panelists, and I think you were part of that panel discussion too, right? All the other women said sometimes when people tell you no or you can't do it, they might even be people you know and love. They're good people. They're not necessarily trying to hurt you. Almost all the time, it's because they don't know. They don't know that it's possible. So they think, well, I've heard it's not possible, so I'm going to save you the trouble or I'm going to tell you. But they just don't know. If you talk to someone who's actually doing it, they'll say, now hold up a minute. Let me tell you something. You can do it, and here's how. Okay, let's see. Next question. Right here. Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Riley. Has anybody ever told you that you can't do something?
Maybe you have a specific example. You told us about your fire truck example. Any other specifics you can think of?
So, yeah, it was not uncommon a little bit ago in my profession for people to say, just like they said for you, you couldn't be on the fire truck. that women couldn't be surgeons. There were certain things in medicine they couldn't do. And it's simply not true. But I think almost every single woman going into a non-traditional career has been told they can't do it. The key is how you respond to that. My suggestion is you ignore it and just press on with what you want to do.
Let's see, up here, yep, top.
And I'm in 4th grade. Okay, that didn't really work. My name is Amelia Miller, and I'm 10, and I'm in 4th grade. So how many fires have you been in?
That's a good question. I've been doing this for 30 years, and for 28 of those years, I was what we call in the streets on the engine. Hundreds. I worked on the east side most of my career, and there's a lot of house fires over there. So to give you an exact number, I couldn't do that, but hundreds, maybe close to 1,000 since I was on the line for 28 years. So I've been in a lot of fires. And some big, some small. Sometimes it's just, a stove fire. Sometimes it's a whole house fire. So all different kinds of fires.
Where's our next question? Oh, right up there, okay, yep.
My name is Raina. I'm 11 in the 6th grade. My question is, what's the most dangerous thing you got into or saw at work?
The most dangerous thing you've run into as part of your job?
Well, obviously fires. They're always dangerous, and you always have some anxiety when you first go into a fire. And sometimes we're in apartment buildings, so there's different hallways. So stuff like that. Actually, car accidents are very dangerous for us. We have car accidents on the expressway, and the fire department goes to everything. We go to car accidents, we go to sick people, we do all the EMS. So a lot of times we'll be at a car accident on the expressway and cars don't move over for us. So there's been firefighters that have been injured on simple car accidents just for other people not paying attention. So anywhere from a fire to an accident.
Dr. Duggan, I know as an infectious disease doctor, is there something scary that you've ever come across too?
We get a lot of, the scariest thing is when you're doing something like you'd see on TV when they have, just like you, with EMS, when maybe somebody's not breathing well or something like that, and you have to step in. And that can kind of be a little bit scary, but when we go through our jobs, they train us how to respond to that and how to handle it. So you always get a rush of adrenaline, but it's very, very manageable. So we don't want you to ever think you can't do something because on the outside, not knowing how to be trained for it, it looks scary. We can teach you how to do all of that stuff.
Good answer. Yeah, go ahead.
This is a question for Cheryl. How old were you when you had your first fire?
This is my granddaughter.
Oh,
I was 23. I was 23 when I got on the department, and that was when I had my first fire. So that was a great question, honey.
All right, next question. Oh, up there, yes, go ahead.
My name is Erlen. I'm 8 and I'm in 3rd grade. But how many viruses do you know of?
how many viruses do I know of? Ooh. Hundreds, but there's probably millions out there that haven't been discovered yet. And so if that's something that interests you, maybe you can be the one that discovers a whole bunch of new viruses. But there's a lot of them out there. And you never ever learn everything in medicine because always new things are popping up.
I want to piggyback off that for a second because I think for a lot of us that went through school and we learned about things, you know, whatever you may have learned about in science class or on the news or whatever it was, I think we all got to see in real time in 2020 what it's like when something brand new happens and the people who are the experts who, in our minds, know everything, you know everything to us, you know, we watched them learning right alongside with us.
Yeah, that was painful.
Every other time, right? And every other time we go to the doctor, I don't feel well, this is what's wrong with me, and they have the answer. We watch these very smart people who have years, decades of experience learning right alongside of us. And I think that was new to a lot of people at home because we just expect that you know everything already. And the same goes for someone who might be, you walk up to a fire, there is something in there that may be an unknown. Even the experts don't know everything, but they're learning. And each time in the last 2 years, we've seen doctors and scientists learn something new, then they turn around and tell us. And sometimes it's not what we thought before. It might change what we were told is the right thing to do, or this is what it means. And each time they're learning, some new information is going in. So the next time, God forbid this happens, because there's always change in the world, like you said, millions of viruses we don't know about, we are a little bit smarter when we start that process, aren't we?
Absolutely, and that's not just true for medicine, that's true for every single profession out there in the tables that you explored. The things that we used to teach about fire safety when I was your age are totally different than what we teach for fire safety now. And those kind of things actually save lives.
Oh, yeah. Next question. Yeah.
My name's Rachel. I'm 21. But this question is also for Cheryl. What does like the schooling and training look like for a firefighter?
So the training, once you're hired, you take the civil service test through the city, and there's a lot of hoops to jump through, but they walk you through each step. And once you're chosen to be in the class, the city pays for everything. We send you through to a training bureau. We're out at Owens, and that's like 4 months, and then you have like 2.5 months of EMT after the fire training. So we handle all the training. So our training bureau is approximately 6 months, and you work 40 hours a week at the training bureau, and then once you're done and you're qualified, you got all your state cards, your fire state cards, and your EMT state cards, then you're put out on the line. And then you start working your 24, 48, you go through different rotations, stuff like that.
Chief, can you talk about one more thing? We always see like the military going through their drills, right? We learn about that. We see police, we think police academy, do the push-ups. Talk about fitness, because that's important to being a firefighter as well, right?
Yes, we do. We consider ourselves paramilitary. So we try to be military-ish as far as, marching and all that and drill school. And physical fitness is a huge aspect of our job, obviously. And you have to pass an agility test to get on the job. And then when we're out at training every day, we have PT at the end of the day, and everybody has to partake. And then we encourage our crews to stay fit throughout their career.
In case anyone's wondering, how heavy is that stuff that firefighters carry when they go in? You may not realize that you see them in the uniform carrying the hose, carrying this, carrying that. I mean, that's like serious stuff.
Yeah, once we have all of our gear on, our helmet, our boots, our backpack, it's about another 80 pounds, 80 to 100 pounds. And then you're carrying tools and everything else, and then you're carrying hose. So it's a lot of weight to carry, and that's why it's so important to be in shape and to stay in shape.
Good question. Okay, yeah, who's next? Go ahead.
My name is Molly. I'm 10 years old, and I'm in the 4th grade. I'm wondering where fires usually occur and how big they get.
Fires can occur anywhere. Sometimes they start as a cooking fire in a kitchen. Sometimes candles, people let candles burn and they catch like a curtain on fire or something. And sometimes we have people and sometimes kids that actually are curious about fire and start burning papers and stuff, and then they get scared. because they started a fire in their house, so they try to hide it, and then the whole house catches on fire. So to say to pinpoint one area, it could be anywhere. It could be a dryer fire down in your basement, anywhere. It could be electrical fire in the walls. But the biggest thing is don't play with fire. Sometimes, you'll have that curiosity, but it's so dangerous. And then if something does happen, you have to tell an adult. Don't ever try to hide anything. Go tell your mom or dad or sister or brother that, I messed up, I screwed up, I started a fire, but don't ever try to hide it. That's the worst thing you can do. And then when there is a fire, get out of the house. Don't go back for your laptop, don't go back for your cell phone, don't go back for your stuffed animals. All those things can be replaced. And unfortunately, pets. I know they're our family, but we have to get out. People have to get out of the fire. So don't ever stick around and look for a pet or a toy or anything. Just
And you should know if you have a pet, and I don't know that everyone knows, the department, just recently, this past week, we did a story where they went into a home, they found a dog and they found a cat and they revived them, but the firefighters did it, right? So don't feel like they know to go look in there and they will help you too, so you get out.
We actually even have masks that for oxygen for dogs and cats. So we actually give the animals, pure oxygen and try to revive them. So we do love the animals too.
Let the experts do it. All right, next question. Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Ashlyn. I'm 8 years old and I'm in 3rd grade. And I have a question for both of you. Do you read a lot of books for your job or like 2 or 3?
Well, on the fire department, we had to read a lot of books because we have to have all of our fire training and then our EMT, and then if we choose to become paramedics, those are a whole bunch more books. Not nearly as many as the doctor has read, I promise you that, but we do have to read a lot.
Yeah, we read a lot. No two ways about it. But if it's fun and you like it, it's like reading right now when you love a book. You just lose yourself in it and you're like, wait, what's going on? So we do read a lot, but a lot of it's actually fun.
You read a lot of books?
Then
Yeah?
you would love medicine.
Yeah, go ahead, next question.
Okay, so I'm Madeline Miller. I'm 12 years old and in the 6th grade. So when you die, what do you want people to remember you as?
Good question.
That's a great question. When I die, I want to be remembered as somebody who cared for other people, who truly believed that everybody is savable, everybody is worth saving, and I was given some small part or no part sometimes, and I tried to do that. That's how I want people to remember me.
That's a hard question. I would like to be remembered very similar, and that's probably why we both are in the field of helping other people, that I was compassionate and caring. I like to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I don't like to judge. We have homeless people on the streets. We have people that are addicted to drugs. I like to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. We all have a story. We all have baggage. I like to think that I'm compassionate to all those different people on all different levels.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which disease that you've seen?
Sclerosing mesenteritis. I never saw that before, and it's pretty rare. And it's actually not an infectious disease. That probably didn't impress anybody. Okay, well, that's actually probably the rarest disease I've ever seen. What kind of disease is it? So this is where I always hate to talk about this because then everybody's all of a sudden like, ooh, ooh. But it's this weird thing that happens in your stomach where you get like lots of scarring that happens. And you end up treating it with drugs that are for breast cancer, so it's really a weird disease. Just let it go. But that's probably the weirdest disease I've ever seen.
Yeah, go ahead.
For all you gastroenterologists out there, I know you're impressed. You're like, yeah, you saw that.
Hi, my name is Candy. I'm 13 and I'm in the 7th grade. And my question is, how did your families feel about you picking this job?
So for me, interestingly, my father was always very supportive of, when I was in college, of my going into medicine. My mother was more of a traditionalist, and she didn't think that I should do it. So I'm like a classic example of people tell you don't do something, do what you want to do. So, because some people want you to stay kind of within traditional boundaries. And my mother had her reasons for it. It was a different, but the 1980s was a different time, trust me. Just bad hair and stupid socks, it's just all bad. But there was an emphasis on women doing some traditional things. So that's the honest answer from me. And I don't think we see that much anymore. I think, as a baby boomer, I think that's a little bit of a, and now you, what's your?
My parents were both very supportive. Like I said, I was the youngest of 5, and my dad is a military man. And so they were very supportive. They knew that I wanted to do something, that I was active, and I probably wasn't going to go to college and be a doctor. So they 100% support.
Go ahead.
What's your favorite book and why?
So my favorite book is going to be kind of weird, but it's called The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis, and it's a really deep book. But it's kind of inspiring. It's about how to lead a really, really, really good life, and it's really, really short.
I probably can't answer that. I read some autobiographies from different people, but that's about the extent of my reading beyond the fire department.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Amelia Miller, and I'm 10, and I'm in 4th grade. Why did you pick your job that you do right now?
Sometimes I think my job picked me, only because I was looking more as a garbage collector or a police officer. And then that opportunity came to me, and I thank the Lord that it did, because 30 years later, it's still the best job that I could ever dream of. So I think I just kind of fell into it, luckily.
That's exactly the same thing that happened with me. I really didn't choose it. It chose me. And I have no idea why. But like choosing anything in life, like do you like chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream? If you're open and just be open to the experiences, your heart will tell you. The heart goes where the heart goes, and you'll make a good decision. And when it's a good fit, it'll be relatively easy and you'll be happy. And people will know that it's the right fit because they'll see that passion for what you do come out, okay? So if I had to study bugs all day, I'd probably be like scared, like this, shaking all day, all right? Luckily, I don't have to do that because I'm a little afraid of spiders. But when it's a good fit, it'll come through in everything you do.
We chatted about this a little bit before these presentations, and then the panel talked about this also, and I think it's something that's worth repeating to those who weren't in here, is that even when you find your good fit, whatever job calls you, you're already good at it, you feel like that's something you'd want to do, one of the important things everyone said is you may not like all parts of your job. All parts of it may not be easy for you, and all parts of it may not be fun, but that doesn't mean it's not necessarily the right job for you. And I think you both can probably attest to that as well.
So before I hand it over to Cheryl, yeah, I mean, most doctors hate something called paperwork, all right? And don't worry about what that is, but it's kind of, And so nobody likes all of their job, but that's the thing most of us dislike the most.
Believe it or not, my job is smells, vomit, diarrhea, and we run into that a lot. But that's where we are in a crew. There was some things that would make me gag, and I would have a partner that would say, just go outside. So that's where we take care of each other. Then there may be another situation of blood and, a real trauma that somebody else, makes them a little queasy. Luckily, it's not one person there. We're there with the team. So if somebody can't handle something, we just excuse them.
Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Raina. I'm 11 in 6th grade. And what is one time that you have shown leadership?
Oh, one time you've shown leadership. Is there a specific example, maybe?
I think I've shown leadership, once I became an officer, probably even before I became an officer. You have to lead a crew. Once you're a lieutenant and above, you're actually in charge of a crew. So you're going into scenes and you're kind of ordering, I don't like that word, but you're ordering crews into a fire. And my job is to, oversee and make sure that they're safe because we want everyone to go home safe. So, I have to be a strong leader and not be shy or anything else when I'm sending people into dangerous situations. I have to know what they're going into and feel okay that they're going to be able to come out.
So that's one of the things, interestingly, when you go into most of the careers like we have, we'll actually teach you how to be leaders, and we're going to tell you when you need to be a leader and how to be a leader. So for example, when we have what we call codes, like somebody's hard to stop breathing, certain people lead the team, and you're expected to do that. So we actually teach you that skill set, and it's easy to learn. And actually, since you're involved with training, you actually teach people to be leaders. Yeah. So we can do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Ashley. I'm 9 years old and in the 3rd grade. Why do you don't want little kids to mess with fire?
Well, I don't want them to mess with fire because it's dangerous. You can hurt yourself, you can catch yourself on fire, and you can catch your house on fire. So that's, in a nutshell, just don't play with fire.
Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Sophia, and I have a question for both of you. What is your favorite TV show?
Now, Grandma watches weird shows. I like watching little people shows. They amaze me. So I watch a lot of little people shows.
So one of my favorite shows on TV is kind of weird, but it's called Forensic Files. And it's about, and the reason I like it is because in that show, the doctors, our friends in fire and police, we all work together and we save the day and we find the bad guys. And that's why I like that show, because there's nothing always hanging at the end. They always,
Get an
always
answer.
finish it, yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
What's your favorite part of your job?
My favorite part of the job is seeing people one-on-one in the hospital or in the clinic and getting to talk to them and taking care of them. That is my favorite part of the job.
Mine's similar. I've actually been involved in 5 different childbirths and not my own. So that's just awesome to see, to be there, and I'm not a doctor, just to be there and see that child born, and most of them are pretty healthy, and then we have people that have heart attacks, and we bring them back, and that's just so fulfilling.
Amazing. Yes, go ahead.
I just like the excitement. Every day is different. I never go to work, you know, and do the same thing day after day after day. Every day I could be, you know, doing CPR on a grandma in the morning and helping deliver a baby in the afternoon and fighting a fire in the evening. It's just every day is different, and it's exciting.
Yeah, and for me, I'm just, the reason I'm doing what I'm doing right now is because I like it. I like most of the parts of it. But like we talked about before, you're never going to have a job where you like every single part of it. But as long as you like the majority of it, that's what counts.
Thank you so much to both of you for being here, and thank you to all of you for coming and being such good listeners and asking such great questions. If you have more questions, I think they'll be here for a few more minutes, so feel free to come down and ask them afterward as well. But for all of our sponsors who made this event possible, thank you to them. This was fun. This was a lot of fun to listen to everybody talk, people you may not get to talk to every day. And again, thanks to our presenting sponsor, Comfortline Fiber Frame, and again, for all of you for being here. So dream your dreams, ask your questions, try something scary, change your mind, and try something else scary. I think that's the lesson we all came out of this with. So thanks again. Hope you guys have a great afternoon and a great weekend.